It's FIGMA time! Hello, welcome to another figure review. Today we're going to have a look at the FIGMA number 612 DX. It's the Arcueid Brunestud, and I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but you try to pronounce this. Anyway, so this is the DX version. I wanted to get the big one because she has a bunch of cool accessories. But who is the character even? The main character of an old school game by the name of TSUKIHIME, Arcueid Brunestud, is the White Princess of the True Ancestors. And this is based on this is an old school typemoon game, and you know me, I love me some Fate, so I love pretty much everything typemoon. I love the design, I love the style of the artist, so I had to get this one. Also, she's like recently been in Melty Blood, I think. But yeah, anyway, let's have a look at the character. So let's have a look at the size of. That's what the thing says. Anyway, size of the character. Brunestud Arcueid, 15 centimeters to the top of the head, which means we are going up to 5.8 inches tall. Size comparisons.
Here's Jolter, the SH Figure Arts Son Goku, Figma Saber, Nero Claudius, Pecora, and Darkseid.
This is, by the way, based on the TSUKIHIME remake, which happened a couple of years ago. That's why we have the modernized look of the character, because if you look at like old school typemoon stuff, it definitely looks a lot different, and I prefer the newer vision we have. So first and foremost, you have the eyes, which are nice and sharp around it. Really got that typemoon style going on. The red eyes and the hair sculpt is nicely molded. What I don't really know is like this how this is kind of draped over. I think they just glued that on. Stands out a little bit weirdly to me, especially since it's not even cleanly connected there. And I know I'm already taking this under a microscope, but look at the figure itself. There's not really much going on. You didn't have to do much. You have a white plain shirt with some wrinkles on there. You do have the necklace, which is nicely painted considering how small it is. The line that goes around it is also painted in a nice metallic. You have the boba, a little bit of fan service over there. And is it just me, or is this torso piece a little bit of a different color than the rest of the shirt? I don't know, under the light it can't tell really as much, but I'm not really sure. And then we go down to the excuse of a skirt, because it's so incredibly short that it might as well just be a belt that she's wearing over there for no reason whatsoever. But yeah, we do have a different skirt though, if that's not your style, if you like it a little bit less kinky, or however you want to call it. But speaking of kinky, it's pantsu time. As usual, it's not really a pantsu, it's the part of the pantyhose, but it is molded. You have some molded detail on there, so kudos to that for the perving. We're just having fun over here. If you'd be like, don't be like that. Anyway, sorry if I killed the ears with that, but as you can tell, we do have double jointed knees, which do stand out a little bit because they're a lot more shiny than the rest, but that's kind of the nature of the joints. You have that also for the elbow. As we go down to the boots, also are a bit more shiny than the rest, and just a little buckle over there. And yeah, there you go. I mean, as I'm saying, it's a simple design, but what is here is done well, but there's some obvious things that stick out, because we do have this ugly freaking hinge over there, which doesn't really, well, we'll get to the articulation in just a second, but yeah, no, it really doesn't accomplish that much, and it doesn't look good. Also, I could have done without the thigh swivels. It's not the worst offender, but again, you already have a design which is fairly simple, and then you ruin it over there, and like the thigh swivel, I don't know, you can rotate it up on the leg, so that's no point in that. But anyway, I'm already getting into the articulation, so let's get to the articulation. As we get into the articulation, things are getting a lot more unpleasant. But let me show you. First and foremost, the head is just on a ball hinge, which is connected to the back of the head by another ball. So that moves back and forth nicely, side to side, no problem, and also can be swiveled. Then, problem number one. What is this? What is the shoulder joint? It's just a ball on a long peg. So you can't really move this peg at all as such. Can bring it forward, okay, to the back, nice. Cannot really be swiveled, and then up and down movement also isn't that great. What is this? I don't know. So then we have the elbow joint, which you can move up and down. It is a ball hinge. You can also swivel it pretty much all the way, but try to not break it off or scratch off the plastic. Might be dangerous, so be careful when you do that. For the hand, it's on another ball hinge. Bring that up and down and can be swiveled. The chest area is nice and nimble, goes back and forth, side to side, and can also be swiveled. But now we have this big, ugly hinge, like a, what is this, like an ab crunch, or what did you call that again? I don't know, I rarely have these kind of things because it's crap. It doesn't really accomplish much. You can bend it forward, and you can bend it back, and wow, look at this, a range of art, a range of motion. Don't do that, it's not good looking, and it doesn't really do much. So, moving down to the hip area is, what is this, by the way? You can take this off, obviously, because you can switch around with the skirts. Well, what the hell is this? Why not connect it via a ball? What even is the shape of this weird freaking joint? And also, like, it doesn't kind of rotate, but kind of doesn't, like, a lot, so I'm not happy with that. Then the leg loves to pop off. Oh, it hasn't yet. Okay, so you can bring that forward. By the way, it is on a hinge. Sorry, I forgot to mention that, but you can bring it down, so you get some more range. Goes out to the side, and then off, and let me try the other one, if that one's a little bit more stable. Forward, to the back, and out to the side. The skirt is also cut up in the back, which I don't really get. Why is it in the back? Okay. So we do have the aforementioned swivel in the thigh. Double hinged knees, we don't really get that a lot from FIGMA, that's rare. And then the foot is on the ball hinge, which is simple stuff, brings it back and forth, and does not really tilt side to side as well as I wanted to, but I guess it can move also the ball on the top over here on the ankle. And by the way, there's no swivel at the boot. I would have expected them to do one, but they didn't. And as I'm at it, I think like it's not super wobbly, but I feel like the legs could be a little bit tighter, right? So for your accessories, first and foremost, we do have hands. We have like a lot of standard hands, like closed hands, holding hands, grabbing hands, and a lot more like poses and whatnot. This is when she goes all vampirish and starts attacking people. And then these kind of ones, extra hands. So we got a lot of hands. There's also like the replacement pack. I really don't show that, but that's always included with every FIGMA ever. It's like a tiny wrist for the wrist. And then we have this big base. I'm not a big fan of the big base, unironically, because it takes up too much space. Alright, I'm rhyming. Bars. Anyway, you have like two arms, one for the figure and one for the energy effect. Here is the energy effect. We don't really get that a lot with FIGMA, so I appreciate it. It's nice and glossy. And I love the little bit of white on there, and yeah, it's a cool part. It's cool part. But I still don't think you needed another extra base for that, like the bigger base. You could have just had like a smaller kind of whatever to attach it, or I don't know. I don't like the big base. And then for your faces, you have like the one with the yellow eyes where she goes into battle mode, and then you kind of have the shy, somewhat embarrassed face on the other side with the red eyes. And you also have a different hair sculpt where we have cat ears. I like that. I like cat ears. It's like a VTuber trope. Everybody has cat ears there as well. Ha! Payne talking about VTubers, of course. And then we also have different leg pieces, which you can replace with the other ones, where you do have some standard high heels, which looks pretty nice, also glossy. And then there's the skirt. I don't know how to feel about it. I have to put it on and see for myself, but this hole is like, first and foremost, really small. Why are there metal pieces sticking out of it? You couldn't close that up? What is the reason for that? And you also have like this piece which is supposed to go over under it. I'll figure that out once I put this together. But as you can tell, because there are wires, you can pose the dress. So because there's a wire over there, there's one over there, there's one on this side. So there are 3 wires that go from the middle, and one like goes like all the way through on the side. So can get into some cool action poses. Speaking of action poses, this was packaged like that, and then this like weird carton thing with, I guess it keeps it in place and it keeps it clean. But we do have the big blood splatter on the floor, which actually looks pretty cool. Final thoughts! I'm disappointed. I'm really disappointed. This wasn't a hard job to do. This wasn't a hard task. You do the figure, has a simple design, and then you just do it. Just do it. But then they started screwing around with weird things, articulation points that don't really work or don't really add anything. And as far as the accessories go, it's good. I just like feel we have a happy face, we have an embarrassed face, we have the berserker face, but like we don't even have like a neutral face. Hands is fine, the cat ears are great, but here's one of the bigger issues. When I started playing around with the figure, when I started putting it into poses, I realized the paint was rubbing off on the skirt so much all throughout it, and I didn't even like, this has been like 10 minutes of me trying to get into poses. Also, we have some freaking paint chipping on the torso part where I moved the chest over it. At the price point and telling me you're selling a DX product? I am not happy with that. So I cannot recommend this one at the current price point. If you find this one secondhand in good condition, sure, whatever. But I don't think this is worth the amount of money for like the amount of effort that they put into it, which I feel like isn't that great. So I don't want to be super duper negative, but again, like the small issues become bigger when you have such a simple design where you didn't have to do that much, but you still screwed up the bare basics of a figure. That's gonna do it, guys. As usual, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this review, hit it up with a like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned for more figure reviews, card game stuff, and whatever. Arcueid Brunestud once.